truth doesn't need hype. It stands on its own. Truth stands on its own, but it may not be recognizable as truth until consciousness does evolve to certain levels. So we relied over time. Am I blocking somebody's view? So, I don't want you. Yeah. So, anyway, we've relied then on people who have evolved more spiritually, and we understand from their writings and their teachings. Now, that in itself causes confusion because, you see, there's disparity between the literal teachings of the various teachers, and therefore the naive person gets confused. It helps to clarify what is being explained by the teacher if you know the calibrated level of consciousness. So he's not so this person here is not telling you the ultimate truth. He's telling you what truth looks like at consciousness level 500. He's telling you what consciousness level 575 it looks like. Confucius, of course, Socrates, etc. They're telling you what the world looks like, what reality looks like from that particular level. So, if I was a starting student, I would start from the lowest levels and first become familiar with the lower, the teachings. Be kind to black beetles on their back. You see what I'm saying? Read Chinese fortune cookies and take them seriously. We told you that Chinese fortune cookies calibrate around 350. Well, a Chinese fortune cookie is far beyond the consciousness level of mankind. You understand that? Mankind is at 205. Chinese fortune cookies are at 350. Gail and Robert brought us Chinese food the other night. The fortune cookie calibrated over 300, 350, 360, 380, 375. The fortune cookie calibrates at 375. It'll say something like that. The wise man knows how far to go and when to stop, you know what I mean? And other people, the fool lunges ahead. First, make sure you've got fortune cookies mastered. Move on from fortune cookies. When the fortune cookie life describes what your life is like, you are making good progress. You are way ahead of most of the world. Be kind to your neighbors, be thoughtful of people, this is kindness and wisdom. So, what it teaches is wisdom, and I think wonderful sayings. I don't know how fortune cookies got to be so fortunate. We have to come back in this world. We'll come back as a Chinese fortune cookie. We got a good start. Take off from 350. You got a running start. No, what most people want to do, I'll show you what a naive person does. They look for the highest number here. And quickly they scan this. And they find 950. Okay, we'll start there. Starts with, you don't exist. Oh. There are very popular. There is some, Eric Butterworth. The writings of Butterworth are very, very solid. So all these that are the lower numbers are very, very solid, and their value is that they are readily comprehensible. If you read Ramana Maharshi, it says, the people who try to fix the world, why bother fixing the world? The world you see doesn't even exist. So anyway, we start out at the bottom until we feel that we understand people who have been common and popular preachers, I think. And who's the biggest selling book in the world today in America? The minister. Yeah, Purpose-Driven Life. Rick Warren, okay. So the Purpose-Driven Life is the best-selling book in America. Isn't that amazing? And the values that he prescribes are solid. All right, so first you master those in the 400s is what I would say. The fact that they're in the 400s means that they're intelligent and comprehensible. The intellect can grab them. As you get more and more exotic, it's less and less possible to grab it with the intellect. So Eric Butterworth is still comprehensible. Those within the 400s are still comprehensible with just the intellect alone. Ernest Holmes is one of our favorites, and it all makes good sense. So that's the rock-solid foundation. Rock-solid foundation. Before you grab a text that calibrates at 800 or 900. And then I would take those that are now addressing, including the reality of love in the 500s. And if I was starting over, frankly, I would just put these in order and I'd start at the bottom and start reading my way up to the top. Does that make sense? Well, you know, as a medical student, I had to be very organized in my study. I couldn't just grab any old book because I like the cover, you know what I mean? So if I was doing it again, if I was a theology student in an advanced theology course, I would start at the bottom and read my way right through this list. Read my way right through the list. Read my way right through the list until I comprehended all that. Comprehended all that. And of course, as you do that, you become motivated to apply it to your own life, and automatically you begin to absorb it. You automatically begin to absorb it. By sheer familiarity. By sheer familiarity. So constantly, it isn't like you have to intellectually comprehend every move on the road, but if you keep going over the same road all over and over again, it becomes obvious. It becomes obvious that to be kind to all living creatures at all times is an expression of wisdom. And if you keep doing that, you will become wise. You become a black turner over. So these are very popular, Thomas Merton, so these are very well-known names. Now it becomes more difficult to comprehend as you get into the 700s, Ramana Maharshi, Nisargadatta Maharaj. So I would arrange these, you know, all according to the numbers. I know how my mind would do this. I would put them all according to the numbers. And I would first read 440, and then 450, and then 455. And I would spend a couple of years. What difference does it take how long it takes to read them? But I would first master that. So first master the 400s, and then the 500s. And so these are very famous names: Aurobindo, or Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the Unity, Emmett Fox. These are all people we all know very well. Meister Eckhart. And some of these are not well known here in this country, but certainly Martin Luther, and we know all these names. So Robert Monroe is very interesting. Journeys Out of the Body. If you haven't read that, it's just a fun book to read. He's an engineer, and he starts having spontaneously out-of-body experiences, and he's never heard of it before. He gets back in the body, and he writes in his diary. He starts compiling for people who've never been out of the body. It's really interesting. Okay, so we'll go ahead. And these are more on the list, and they go all the way up probably to Huang Po, which I've spoken about before. Now, Huang Po is the pathway of negation. The pathway of negation will take you to the void. The void is at about 850. Anyway, that's how I go about it if I was starting over. I'd start right at the bottom, and so this takes you 5 or 10 years. Maybe it takes you 20 years. What's the difference? You know, because it's so delightful, the whole trip. And of course, it's very fascinating reading. And you become transformed just by exposure to the material.